Hello and welcome to my channel. If you are new, I am so over the moon that you found me, and if you've been here before, oh my god, you came back. My name is Alonda Carter and I am the recovering Hunbot. I create daily anti-MLM videos, which include stories shared with me through my Google form. There's a link to that in the description. Examine what Huns are doing on social media and do some deep dives into specific MLM. So if you enjoy anti-MLM content, then you might want to consider subscribing.
And today we're going to be doing something a little bit different. You might be wondering who I am if you've never heard of me. I'm Anotherxyz. I make anti-MLM content on Mondays, mostly in the r/anti-MLM subreddit. This video is a collaboration between me and the recovering Hunbot. The first part of this is actually over on my channel, I'm Anotherxyz. There will be a link around here somewhere so you can go ahead and go check that out first. Then join in on this one because it's literally right in the middle of a call. It'll make sense, but it'd be a lot more fun if you got the whole experience. So go ahead and head over there, check out that first part, come back, watch this second part. But let's go ahead and hop right in. Okay, I like this one. Okay. This one's kind of snarky, so it'll be fun. This post is by the user Amshay. The title of the post is "Fun Experience I've Had Since Being Self-Employed." I know we don't post a lot of text posts around here, but I think you can all appreciate this. I own a mental health private practice, and anytime someone asks where I work, I always say I'm self-employed. I started noticing this reaction where people assume I sell MLM bullshit. They usually sigh, and their tone gets more passively annoyed, and they generally say, "Oh, really? What do you do?" I've even had people directly ask what I sell. It always leads to a mild sense of satisfaction when I tell them that I'm a master-educated therapist with a state-issued license who happens to own my own business, and I am my own boss. And I really hate that MLMs have brought us to this point. I mean, it's kind of me. It's kind of my idea of me harping on like MLM, like Huns saying that they own their own businesses. It's gotten to the point where people who own their own businesses have to clarify, like, no, I don't sell anything in an MLM. I actually legitimately own my own business. And it's just pretty funny.
I agree, but you know, the thing is that there are people like this therapist, and I know one here in Houston, a chiropractor, is slinging Kiani. I don't know if I'm saying it. Yeah.
I know what you're talking about.
I did a video on that too, but it's like, you know what, to me, it's like, then you have a network because you have people who know, like, and trust you.
Mm-hmm.
And they're just going to say yes because, you know, they're literally saying, well, if you could feel better, would you be willing to try fill in the blank with, you know, bullshit MLM product? But this person is obviously not slinging MLM, but I find it kind of sad and amusing that people just have the expectation that that's what they must be doing.
Yeah, you bring up an interesting point with the, like, people who actually do have their own businesses who do that kind of stuff. I remember reading a post one time about a veterinarian that was selling Young Living essential oils, and they had a bunch of like oil diffusers around the office. And for me, that just throws up huge red flags because what if a dog comes in with a respiratory issue? That just seems like a nightmare.
Absolutely. I've seen those diffusers also, like, you know, in other medical facilities, and, you know, like on the subreddit and everything. I'm like, holy crap, are you kidding me? I mean, you just stick this stuff wherever. And actually, I'd like to tell them where they can stick it, but, you know, that's beside the point.
So this post is by the user, I'm going with Agrodial. That's my best guess on that. But the title of the post is MLMs at my town's anniversary day fair. Not a long story, but I haven't had much experience with MLMs in person, but I lurked this sub a good amount and had my first encounter. I was annoyed walking through Main Street in my town yesterday and seeing booths occupied by Young Living and LuLaRoe. I was with my friends when we walked by a Sensi booth, and the lady goes, "Hey, do you guys know about Sensi?" And I just reply, "Yeah, actually, I know all about Sensi's business practices," and I just kept walking. I'll be contacting my town's Department of Commerce, complaining about MLMs being present. I mean, good for them.
Oh, I have
Oh yeah, go for it.
okay. Okay, first of all, I'm just going to throw this out there because here in Houston, that's where I live. I've gone to Comic Palooza, which think of Comic-Con, but not as big as in San Diego.
Hmm.
And we were there, and there was this enormous, and I'm talking enormous booth of all LuLaRoe. No one was there because it's LuLaRoe. But the thing is, like any of these fairs where they need vendors, they're going to take anyone that they can get to fill in a slot. However, I've also seen instances of these types of fairs and stuff that the person who has headed up is in an MLM. So they're open to MLMs. And so they kind of just slither on in. They completely don't belong there, but they're getting in. And I think that people are finding it very infuriating. But unless the people who are I guess running it aren't involved and they have enough vendors, they'll probably continue slithering in.
Yeah, definitely. Especially when they don't want it to look like there's a bunch of unoccupied booths. They kind of want to make it look like there's a bunch of businesses present and make themselves look good. But when it ends up being something where it's just all MLMs, it's a big yikes.
It is. Okay, and I have a confession. Are you ready for my confession?
Oh yeah, yep, totally.
Okay. When I was a Beachbody Hun, my alma mater contacted me and I showed up at a health fair. Right next to an oily Hun. There I was. Chilling my Beachbody. But I didn't contact anybody. I did get some names and stuff, but I'm like, I didn't feel right about it.
Yeah. Well, thank you for admitting that. Because I mean, we see a lot of pictures of it on this subreddit where it's just like a wall of MLMs in the middle of like a town fair, or sometimes like I think my favorite ones are like farmers markets when people show up, because it's like, yeah, I guess I kind of get why you're there, but there are so many other presences there that it's just like people are just walking by them without even looking at them, which is kind of sad because I mean it's people, but at the same time it's an MLM, so can't be too sad about it.
I'm kind of wondering, maybe this year we'll go to, we have this event here called the Nutcracker Market for, obviously Christmas. I've never seen any MLMs there, but I wonder if they will get desperate enough to let MLMs come in, or maybe Cincy, because they'll put out like little Christmas looking like, warmers and stuff. I don't know. I hope not.
Oh yeah, and the Scentsy stuff, that really gets me because they actually have like brand deals with Disney and things like that, which I'm not super cool with.
So does LuLaRoe. I mean,
Yikes.
I bought Scentsy back in the day when I didn't know. This was several years ago. A friend's wife sold it. I had no idea that I was supporting an MLM, and I liked the little warmers and the wax. I liked the scents.
Yeah, that's one of those things where like I feel like Scentsy tends to end up in a lot of places where you don't expect them to. So a lot of people who end up using it don't realize it's an MLM until they're way late in the game and they're like, wait a second.
Yeah, but there's so many alternatives. You can go to Walmart and get you some wax.
Yep.
You don't have to get Scentsy.
And say if you have an IKEA nearby, same thing. This post is by the user Beware the Wigglefish. It's a rad name. And the title of the post is, I know one of the 1%. The MLM is Luminous, and I just discovered I know one of the 1% that's making money in it. Or at least, I'm assuming she's making money due to recent events. It's one of my husband's friend's wife. After doing some digging, I discovered she joined Luminous right from the get-go when it was less than 6 months old. They ask her to talk at conferences because she's a founding member, and regularly take her on trips and cruises. I knew she was in deep. I just didn't realize she was part of the founding problem. I always assumed this was a black hole financially for them, as every time we would sit, my husband and I always have to pay for everything because they were always broke. We saw them 2 weeks ago and had to pay for dinner, after it was already decided it would be split, because once the bill came, the wife had a panic attack due to her part being $100. Kids' food, beer, meals. My husband felt bad and paid theirs. Only apparently they're not broke because we just discovered last weekend they bought a house. Have been remodeling the entire thing, and flashing around on Facebook some pretty expensive new household purchases: TVs, sound systems, appliances, furniture, etc. While this can all be done on credit, we know their credit is bad, like really, really bad. My husband is angry because he knows they couldn't finance all of that, actually have any money, and have been taking advantage of us all this time. My husband and I are not well off financially. We do okay for ourselves and don't live paycheck to paycheck. But paying for their meals and activities always hurt us and made us tighten our belts for the month. My husband is done. This is a 15-year friendship, and he's done. He refuses to spend another cent on them. He refuses to drive the 5 hours to visit them anymore. He feels betrayed. While I know this isn't solely the MLM's fault, and is mostly the crap personality of this couple, I feel as though the MLM is partially to blame because they weren't like this pre-MLM era. As much as I want to think that it's not the MLM's fault, I want to try and... I think it might be kind of the MLM's fault.
Oh, I'm going full on it's the MLM's fault. Full on because, and I don't know about Luminous, but there is a company called the Sheffield Group. And what they do is they teach you how to create your own MLM. Like Beachbody is one of their clients. It Works as another. Amway is another. But what they also do is help you find people to recruit, because the founding members, so to speak, are the ones that you need to make sure that those people know how to build a team. And so perhaps this woman was in a different MLM before, and maybe was, things were kind of going bad, and they plucked her out of it and plunked her into this. And if she was one of those founding people, depending on what their compensation plan is like, she could be making some okay money. I think maybe they're just cheap in terms of not buying anything.
Yeah, definitely. I think one of the wild things is that they're on social media just showing off all their fancy stuff while their friends had to cover $100 worth of food. When looking at things, kids' food, beer, and meals, I don't know where they're going, but for $100, that sounds like a steal.
It sounds cheap.
Yeah. It sounds like wherever they're at, they got it for pretty cheap, and they should have been able to afford something like that.
Well, I mean, you shouldn't be going out with people and having the expectation all the time that somebody else is going to pick up the tab. That's just kind of scummy in and of itself. So, but I still am going to blame the MLM, because I really feel like MLMs change your personality.
Mm-hmm. And it gets to your head too, the idea of like you're a founding member, and then they take you on trips and cruises and stuff. And then it makes you kind of have this inflated ego, like you got in on the ground floor of something before everything got good. And then it kind of builds that sense of entitlement.
It absolutely does, because literally, I mean, especially on the lower ranks, you look up to these people, like they're celebrities, like they're little demigods of some sort. And you hang on to every word because they know the secret sauce. They got there. And maybe if you can sit next to them or rub up against them, somehow that's going to rub off on you. This
post is by the user. I'm going to go with, actually, that's tough. Rickty? User Richty? I think it's, I'm going to go with, this post is by the user Richty36. The title of the post is, "My marriage might not be the same without Beachbody. Sure, Jan. What's mom doing again? Oh, just changing some lives. I'd like to think that someday they will be proud of me for working hard for them and others, for creating a fulfilling life for our family where we have time and financial freedom to be together and explore the world. If I would have said no to this opportunity over 4 years ago, I guarantee our lives would be different. I might not be putting myself first. Yep, I said it. Like I said yesterday, it's important to put yourself first in order to pour into others. My marriage might not be the same. Our love for fitness has brought us even closer and made me a happier person. Happier wife, happier life, yes? Our kids wouldn't get the best of us. This is hard to write. If I didn't have something that challenges me and makes me want to be the best that I can be outside of work, I might have a different view on life. Why not find something that challenges you, makes you sweat, makes you empowered? I have the perfect solution for you. I'm only a message away. The inspirational bit right before it, this is definitely a pitch I've seen quite a lot, where people do the whole look at me, I'm being vulnerable thing, and look at what this thing has done. It's changed my whole life. Look at how I've gotten in with fitness. And then they hit you with that one little line at the end, I'm only a message away. And that's just a clear red flag.
Well, Beachbody's mission is to help others live healthy and fulfilling lives. So she's pulling out those buzzwords in there, which I find interesting. But I'm going to say this. Someone who is a top Beachbody coach would never post something like this. This is someone who they're struggling. They're desperately trying to get someone to sign up, to get some Shakeology. They're not doing well, but they're just hoping someone will see this and actually message them. I really hope this post got like 0 likes and nobody commented or anything.
They didn't post the bottom part of it.
Darn.
So we have no idea, but interesting, because when I see people post these, I always think they're like some sort of variant of a copy paste type of thing. So it's interesting to see that this kind of thing would be more of like the desperation reach out than it would be something that's a little bit more organized or somebody who's a little higher up. But I guess it makes sense. You kind of don't want to probably put this out if you're higher up.
Well, you are told, and depending, because this person might be in this group called Social Team Builders, which I actually joined too, which it teaches you about your why and to share that and to be vulnerable and to, do all this stuff. But the thing is that this person is not having a great life. They want you to think that they are because of this opportunity. And again, if you look at the income disclosure statement, most people are at the rank of coach. That's what you get when you enter like Beachbody. You are called coach, and get your panties out of a twist, because people get all kinds of twisted about, coach. And I know why, because of, like real coaches and stuff and personal trainers. It's just like the name for the distributor. That's all it is. So you're called coach. And your first rank is emerald, which means that you have 2 people underneath you, one on your right leg, one on your left leg. And 70, I may not have the number right. I want to say it's 74.3% are all coach in the entire network.
Dang.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just being called coach sounds cool, because you always have the connotation of it being like a coach for a really big sports team, or like maybe even something smaller, like a local coach to like kids and stuff like that at intramural leagues. And it just feels important.
Well, yeah, and the way Beachbody also gets around the whole thing, because you don't have to have any training in nutrition or fitness or anything like that. But the way they get around it and the way that it's justified is that the people who create the programs have the background in it. And they put together the meal plans and all of that. So you're not doing it. You're using something that's professionally put together for you, just kind of like a done for you sort of a thing.
So this post is by the user Flippy Wolf, also a really cool name. The title of the post is, "A girl I know actually makes money from Beachbody, and it's really annoying. I studied for 4 years to get my bachelor's in nutritional science. I paid a little over $600 and studied for 6 months to become a CanFit Pro certified trainer, and have been working out myself since I was 18. This girl was one of the popular girls in my high school, and we're in a very small town, less than 3,000 people. She has seen mild weight loss from Beachbody, as anyone will when they start exercising and eating less." I think she meant to say exercising. "And has now become a huge Beachbody success in our town. As she knows everyone in town and is friends with all the girls, she's been successfully able to shill this lifestyle to everyone and actually make, as far as I can tell, good money from it. I've seen from her Insta stories, she is terrible at working out. Her form is just awful. I actually had to unfollow her. I'm ranting here because I studied for years to be board certified, and I strongly believe you should not be giving out workout and nutritional advice if you don't know what you're talking about. And it bothers me that she's actually one of the few making money off this. She's just skinny fat and clearly yo-yo diets. She does a 21-day fix, gets kind of shredded, then gains everything back to begin another cycle and posts her before and after photos. Apparently this July she made a little over 3,000 from her MLM, and it bothers me how she lives with her parents at the age of 25, shilling an MLM, and is actually making money.
Oh, I have stuff to say about this.
I had a feeling. I waited there for a second.
Yeah, because she's not telling you. Okay, the $3,000, but she's not telling you how much she is spending first. Which, to be active, she most likely is getting Shakeology, which would be $99 a month for that. She might be getting other products from Beachbody. So once you deduct her expenses, how much did she really make? And what if you deducted her expenses for the year? It sounds like, oh, she's making money, but let me just throw this out there. The person that I originally signed up underneath, because she ended up leaving, going to direct sellers, and now she's slinging HempWorks. But anyway, she was what's called a 2-star diamond. A 2-star diamond is, okay, the emerald is when you have one person on one side and one person on the other side, okay? That's emerald. When you are diamond, you have 4 people on each side, and one person on each side has become emerald. So effectively, there's 12 people underneath you if you are following that math, and that can mentally lay that in your head.
Mm-hmm.
So for her to have been a 2-star diamond, she would have had to have had 2 other people underneath her, one on each side, go diamond, and have those 12 people underneath her. She said that she was making 6 figures. There's no way, because the story that I did on BB, who was a very high ranking and an elite coach is a special thing where you have, I think you have at least 5 people underneath you as diamonds. She was not making $100K. She was making less than that. So for this whole $3,000, and I can get it that it's really grinding this person's gears, and I don't blame her, but it's probably inflated. That's the thing that most people don't realize, is how inflated that actually is.
Yeah, I had a feeling when reading this. I was like, $3,000 seems like an oddly specific number. And especially, and I know it's probably got to be super frustrating for this person to see it, because they actually went to school to get a bachelor's degree in nutritional science and stuff. And that stuff, it's not easy. I have a friend who actually is a personal trainer who does he power lifts and things like that, and actually goes to lifting competitions. He has his bachelor's degree in nutritional science, and he's working on getting a master's degree and stuff. And when I see what he does, he is always showing scientific evidence behind the stuff he's doing. So he'll show the research and stuff that proves what he's going for. And you don't see the stuff like this where she says that she goes on a 21-day fix, gets kind of leaner looking, and then goes to another cycle so she could take more before and after photos. That can't be good on your body, at all.
Well, 21-day fix is actually a Beachbody program. It's a workout program, and it comes with the colored containers, because the color containers are part of the Beachbody system. And that was put out by Autumn Calabrese. So that is literally a 30-day workout, a 21-day workout program. And you also have a meal plan that's associated with it. Every single workout program, there's a meal plan that's associated with it, where you have recipes and stuff. So that's what it sounds like. What she keeps doing is doing that one program, 21-day fix.
And so she's popping on, doing the 21-day fix thing, hopping off, and then gaining weight and taking more before and after photos. At least that's the way that this person is putting it.
That's where they're putting it, but I don't think that's what's going on. I think what's happening, because as a Beachbody coach, you run these things called, quote, challenge groups. I'm using air quotes here, because you always have to be inviting people to the different groups. You have a paid group and a non-paid group, okay? The paid group, when somebody gets a challenge pack, which these days it includes Beachbody On Demand and then a month's supply of Shakeology, and you get the color containers. And with Beachbody On Demand, you have all the workouts that have been put out and all the meal plans, blah, 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 that you can do. So it sounds like what she's doing is that every month, because you start a new challenge group every month, so you try to get more people into it each month. So it may look like she's starting another cycle, but she's probably starting to try to get people into the next month's group.
Oh, okay. Say, interesting tactic.
And then the before and after pictures, and I didn't do this. And I would have never thought to do this, but apparently there's ways you can stand and move your body so you can fake the before and afters.
Yep. Say lighting is a big one too. I see a lot of really bright lights to show somebody weighs more, and then they kind of dim the lights a little bit, stand up a little straighter, pull their pants up a little bit, tuck back, and you look like you're like 5-10 pounds lighter. It's honestly like, once you've identified it a few times, you can see it in every one of those pictures, and it's almost embarrassing.
Yep. And again, I mean, I never did that. I was honest. I was honest with everything.
All right, everyone. Thank you for joining us for this interesting collaboration video. I hope you all really enjoyed it. Of course, I'm AnotherXYZ. If you enjoyed my content, head over there, slap the subscribe button, and of course, this is the Recovering Hunbots channel. And if you really, really enjoy daily anti-MLM content, make sure you hit that subscribe button, turn on that notification bell and all that fun stuff, and we'll see you next time.